I just want to take care of my grandma, maybe go shopping every once in a while.
When I was a kid, I always wanted to work with animals. I was close.
Shake a little ass, you get a little bag.
These Wall Street guys, you see what they did to this country? They stole from everybody. Hardworking people lost everything. And not one of these douchebags went to jail.
The game is rigged, and it does not reward people who play by the rules.
It's like robbing a bank, except you get the keys. Are you in?
I got I need a cash. Shit, I need it for my life.
These are my coworkers.
Jobs, please.
What if somebody calls the cops? And says what?
Woo!
I spent $5,000 at a strip club, send help.
Damn.
We're a family now.
Damn.
A family with money.
Damn.
And when would you say that things got out of control?
Test the mirror. Ooh.
Please help! This is my husband!
Like a honey bun, spin like a honey gun. Roll your with a one, roll the mommy something. I like my nigga's birthday, you say. We gonna eat this birthday soon.
So the guy went back 3 more.
Aloha! This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man. And today I want to go ahead and give you my review of the movie that I saw last night, opening night, Thursday night, Hustlers, starring Jennifer Lopez, Constance Wu, and Jill Stiles. You know, Cardi B makes a small appearance, but she's not in this movie as much as I thought she would be. She just has a quick cameo. So remember our rating scale. Shock a thumbs up, it's good to see, I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down, it's bad to see, it's junk, I don't recommend it. And for Hustlers, it is a shock a thumbs down. Now that being said, you know, take that review with a grain of salt. I know that other people have said that this is a good movie. It is entertaining in some spots. However, as a guy with my biases, I would have to say that it is, again, a shock a thumbs down for the movie Hustlers. Basically, this entails, based on a true story from 2007 all the way until 2014, a group of strippers who go through and basically decide to start to rob their clientele of their money, you know, to enhance their living through the use of the date rape drug. So, you know, again, you know, you could look at this movie as a female empowerment kind of movie. You know, it's definitely a victimization movie on both levels, both from the strippers. You see it from their perspective, and then you know, and slightly a little bit of their victims. You know, the men who you know, pay for their services and were taken advantage of. But, you know, they try to counterbalance that a little bit with some, you know, of the guys with their money and their wealth taking advantage of these women, these strippers, who, you know, some of them, like Constance Wu, you know, really need this money and are doing this, you know, for their family. Whereas, you know, Jennifer Lopez, with a little bit of a spoiler, she's more of the entrepreneur spirit in this and takes it that one step further to just take them for whatever they're worth, because, hey, they got money and we'll just rip them off. They were going to get rid of this money somehow, or they're stealing this money on Wall Street, so we might as well steal it from them. Two wrongs, of course, do not make a right. So as far as a moralistic movie, this is not a moralistically wholesome movie to go ahead and watch. Again, as a guy, none of the main stars, not even Cardi B herself, who used to be a stripper before, you know, her singing career, get nude in this movie. Jennifer Lopez certainly goes the closest, but everyone is fully clothed. throughout this movie, except for some of the extras where you do see some nudity from them, but nobody of note or of big name. And I say Jennifer Lopez just because she does a fantastic dance number as, you know, being a performer on stage. She regularly does during her shows. So it's nothing more extreme than that. Constance Wu looks pretty good. I can't say great. None of the strippers, you know, just somebody especially as pronounced as Jennifer Lopez's character in this movie, or Constance Wu as they get richer and richer, especially before they switch to ripping off people using the date rape drug. You know, probably would have got boob jobs in real life. I did not go ahead and Google search who these strippers were, you know, these stories of the real life strippers that this is based off of. But, you know, odds are, you know, one or two of them probably did get a boob job. And although with the push-up bra, Jennifer Lopez does look, you know, fully well endowed, you know, outside of that, you know, in normal clothes, and even on stage outside of her push-up bra, with just a normal bikini look to her, she's a little underwhelming in that aspect. If you're looking at, you know, above the waist kind of views there, I guess. You know, everybody knows about, you know, well, I guess before Beyonce was the bootylicious one, you know, you could argue that J-Lo was that before Beyonce stole that title from her. However, again, you know, there are some good performances in this, but overall, this is much more of a relatable movie to that of the Demi Moore's striptease than, say, a Showgirls scenario, although it tries to push into that envelope here and there at times. Ooh, getting a little bit more wind here. Sorry about the camera shake. But yes, so I would say just go ahead and watch this if you're really interested. If you're a big J-Lo fan, big Constance Wu fan, that you want to see Constance Wu in something else, maybe a little bit more drama than her comedy per take than she's normally does on TV and from Crazy Rich Asians, then definitely go ahead and check this out on Matinee or the discount day on Tuesday at Regal for $6 or $7 on Consolidated on Tuesday for $7. You know, or during the matinee. I wouldn't pay full price for this, but it is a definite, you know, watch on iTunes or Netflix later on down the road. You know, there, like I said, the story of how they come to and start to do these robberies of their clientele is somewhat interesting, scary from a guy's perspective, of course, no more than what women usually fear, going out now to bars, I'm sure, you know, with unknown people, you know, but again, that to me distracts from the enjoyment of the story, knowing that it is ultimately somebody, you know, taking advantage of somebody who is helpless at a time, you know, be it a man or a woman. That's kind of where I draw the line on these kind of movies. Some women might enjoy this, but I don't think a lot of guys would enjoy this film. I saw the last showing at the theater on Thursday night. You know, there was a good crowd for the second to last showing, but other than me and another couple in this movie theater, it was empty. There's been some talk about J-Lo getting Oscar nod for this performance, and again, this is probably one of her best performances, and I've seen a couple of her movies, that Made in Manhattan movie, you know, where she's, you know, the other one where she's taken on her abusive husband, you know, but she's definitely honed her own. Disappointingly, Constance Wu is kind of a stereotypical, you know, woman in this as far as a stripper goes, as, oh, you know, she had a a broken childhood, and that's why she became a stripper. It's like, well, you know, you ask, you know, 90% of the strippers out there, and, you know, they'll say, no, I had a good childhood. I had this and that, and I'm not struggling or poor or whatever, you know. You know, they had a, you know, they're going to college and all this stuff. So in that respect, Constance Wu is the stereotypical, what you would think of, oh, you know, that woman's down on her luck, and so she has no other choice than to strip. No, you know, like I said, you ask the majority of the strippers out there, and they are not, you know, from broken homes or anything like that, or had abusive relationships, etc. You know, and that is portrayed more, you know, of a stronger female by Jennifer Lopez, who is the star and the ringleader of this organization, although later on Constance Wu would probably argue that she is. Julie Stiles from the Bourne Identity movies plays a reporter who, after these women are caught, you know, and busted by the law and get pretty much only a slap on the wrist after stealing, you know, what could be considered millions of dollars from a multitude of people, you know, pretty much, you know, just does their story in like a newspaper thing, and she's interviewing them. So it's kind of told from Constance Wu's perspective, looking back, and then cut a little bit into, you know, Jennifer Lopez's memory or recollection of as well during these interview moments. Again, it was somewhat entertaining in that respect. Here in Hawaii, it'd be interesting to see some of the stripping techniques. There's a big mention online about, you know, the pole dancing scenes. They're not all that. Maybe 5 minutes altogether for like 2 scenes of pole dancing. Jennifer Lopez shows off. Constance Wu, you know, she's being trained by Jennifer Lopez, so not as good. But, you know, that's kind of a novelty to see around here in Hawaii, as many of the strip clubs here, you know, it's just the wiggle, you know, the girls just wiggle up on stage or writhe on the ground, you know, for their tips. Whereas on the mainland, and, you know, unfortunately, more and more so on the mainland, that's fewer and few actually do pole dancing of any aerial acrobatics expertise per se nowadays, going more for the easier, you know, just stand there and look pretty money. So, you know, there is that aspect of it, but it's, you know, you're kind of sold a glamorized version in these trailers of what you're going to see going into this movie, and it doesn't pan out like that at all. And again, that's one of the reasons for the Shaka thumbs down. Did I expect anybody, you know, Jennifer Lopez or Constance Wu to get naked in this stripper movie, playing these strippers? No. You know, long are the days of the 80s where you would see your headliner star like that really bear anything. You know, not since like, gosh, who was that? Jessica? No. Morgan Fairchild. You know, where she finally at the end of that movie about, you know, some stalker after her. You know, you get a shot of her in the pool naked or something. That's about it. You're definitely not going to see anything like that in this movie. You know, and they are pretty quick with the extras out there in the background for the nudity too. So nothing is done in an exploitative manner, except for these men getting drugged and robbed. So, you know, again, take that with a grain of salt, this review, as of a Shaka thumbs down for hustlers, being that I'm a guy and I'm seeing guys being taken advantage of. You know, in the YouTube, you know, in the Me Too movement, maybe that's, you know, okay nowadays to, but I don't think anybody should be taken advantage of, especially not in some drug comatose manner like that. So that's my gripes with the film. Other than that, you know, definitely check it out streaming or at the matinee. Again, if you love Jennifer Lopez, love Constance Wu, then, you know, definitely check it out at those times. But for full price, definitely a Shaka thumbs down. Just go ahead and hold off. All right, thank you so much. Again, this is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, here in Hawaii, saying aloha.